Hello there, people, and we are on episode 30. And there's a zombie burning outside. That's funny. But I have been putting in a hell of a lot of work lately. Like, seriously, a absolutely ridiculous amount of work. Especially a ton of mining. But also, as you can see, we got ourselves some heavy water. In fact, I need to go turn that off now. But you may be wondering what this is. This is a uranium processor from REACTORCRAFT. This is the use for all that fluorite that you get in the world. You put the fluorite crystals in here, give it a water supply, it turns that into hydrofluoric acid, which it uses to produce uranium hexafluoride gas. But before you lay down the gas ducts here, and you do need gas ducts, or something non-rotary craft transporty to do it, because it's highly corrosive, is if you're using a reservoir, like I am, put glass panes on top of it before you begin transporting into it. Since it's a gas, it may very well escape and do a great deal of damage. I don't exactly know what it will do, but I know that nothing it will do will be good. Because, it's based off of, effing hydrofluoric acid and uranium, which is highly corrosive and dangerous. But that's neither here nor there. Our main issue is, or rather, what we need to do now is I'm going to teleport to the heavy water extractor. This is really far away from home, so yeah, really far away. So we're going to turn that off. Oh crap. And disable that. There we go. And that should turn that off, which it doesn't seem to be doing. Let's try putting it right on it. There we go. Nope, still not working. That's distressing. Because I don't want it constantly using, ethanol if it's not doing anything. It's now set at 0%, so let's set it to that, and it should stop effing working. Actually, I think it slows down, doesn't it? But yeah, I have to have this underwater because the heavy water extractor here, which you can't see in a while because we're underwater, requires that it be in an ocean biome. And with at least, I think it needs to be below Y level 40 underwater, with at least 16 blocks of water above it, and water on at least 3 sides. Or rather, water source blocks. This thing should be... Okay, good, it stopped. Excellent. Okay, it just took a little while to cool down. Anywho, so yeah, that's how the heavy water extractor works. It requires a lot of, well, I wouldn't say a lot of power. Oh, whoops, ignore that. Yeah. I meant to right-click that, derp. There it is. Heavy water extractor requires 65 kilowatts at 512 newton meters of torque. Which, as you can see from our gasoline engine, that's what it produces, but not enough torque. So we're putting it through a CVT at a 4-to-1 ratio of torque. And it works perfectly. Now, why are we getting heavy water? Well, let's get our teleporter out. And let's pop back home real quick. Whoop. I like that. But basically, you use heavy water in REACTORCRAFT to make deuterium. Deuterium is used to, I believe, run fusion reactors as well. And you also need not only deuterium but also tritium. Tritium is produced by oh bloody hell. Well, tritium, you need a neutron absorber thingy. I'll see in just a second. Let's see here. Neutron. Yeah, neutron irradiation chamber. You supply that with deuterium, and it'll irradiate it and turn it into tritium, which you also need to run a fusion plant. But that, again, is way in the future. As you can see, we only have 2,600 lodestone, and we need, I think, around 10,000 for even the most basic model of fusion plant. So I've been making a ton of steel, because there's another thing you can use tritium for, which I think is really cool. Tritium lamps. You just put those in a filling station, supply it with tritium, and basically it makes really cool lights. Because tritium works off of the property of, I believe it's called radioluminescence, which is the reason why when you're going about and you see fluorite, it'll glow if you're in the dark, which I am not, but you know, it'll glow because it radioluminesces. Which is, I just think it's really, really cool. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been working towards. And there's also the nice little fact that fission reactors in REACTORCRAFT produce a boatload of power. I've also put stop switches on most of the AC engines I'm using, because these things are getting kind of low on magnetization. And since the magnetizer takes a little bit, I figured it would be a good idea to kind of, you know, throttle my usage of them just a little bit. So we are going to, see, I put 9 stacks in there. How many did I get? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So over 2 free stacks of steel. And that's why the Coke, REACTORCRAFT Coke, is so awesome. And we now have 1,100 steel, which is excellent. And it seems our little lube farm is doing very well. I've also got the magnetizer running running a bit faster. Pardon me, because I set the CVT, as you can see, to 32:1, running at, or you know, converting to speed, a steam engine, which means it outputs 1 Newton meter, but at a ridiculous speed. And the higher speed that you get the magnetizer working at, the faster it'll magnetize things. And I've also set up a little thing here to make things with the pulse jet furnace kind of automated a little bit. You just give this a whack with a crescent hammer. For some reason, the Buildcraft wrench does not work with this. You need a, I guess, a crescent hammer. This is how I am supplying water to it. It is a mod called pressure pipes, which I believe I listed off earlier, but as you can see here, let me dig out. There we go, you've got an infinite water source, which I guess in a way is kind of like Zycraft's old nice little thingy where, you know, Zycorium water thing. But in this one, you know, it just supplies a lot of water infinitely. High pressure pump here, which is activated via redstone, pumps from that infinite water source, and we're going to go back up, and pumps into this high pressure input. The thing about pressure pipes is it has ridiculously high throughput. It claims unlimited, but well, since I actually happen to know how things work in Java, I know that, you know, isn't technically possible. But I think it has a throughput of, oh, I don't know, several billion millibuckets per tick, which, as you might guess, is a little ridiculous. So yeah, that should be enough to easily supply the water needs of our little pulse jet furnace. So I use that to make some blast glass. And when it's off, as you can see, it's not using any fuel, which is what we want, because jet fuel is a pain in the ass to make. And we're going to need more tar. Wonderful. Well, yeah, all you need is an AC engine being put through 16 and 32, both set to speed. And you got enough power for a pulse jet and enough speed, which is what it needs. It needs a lot of speed. And when this thing is running, and it'll run pretty hot, do not stand on it or you will catch on fire, and it will hurt you a lot. Which, you know, I figure that might be a common sense thing, but you never know. So that's about all the changes I think I've made over here. Let's go upstairs. Oh, and you can also see I've turned off the reactor a bit to kind of let the DSU fill up with yellorium and stuff. But we're still running a mighty surplus of energy. We've still got 46 billion RF at our disposal. So yeah, that's not a problem. As you can see, I've changed things a little bit here. I am no longer using the biofuel from Mine Factory Reloaded. I decided, since I haven't played with it in a while, you know, might as well. I decided to go for forestry ethanol. It converts, instead of 2-to-1 that you get with regular old biofuel, it does it at a 1-to-1 ratio for forestry ethanol to REACTORCRAFT ethanol. So, you know, all in all, a lot better bang for your buck. It takes a little bit to get working. This is an automated crafting table from the Advanced Dispensers mod. I kind of saw it when I was searching for, you know, I figured I would use like a REACTORCRAFT one, but then I saw that and I was like, what the hell, why not? And basically, you know, you give it things in a crafting. This isn't ghost items, these are like actual items, so you need to be able to craft it at least once. And, you know, the output can be pumped out, which I'm doing with extra utilities. It doesn't need to run terribly quickly. You know, it's not a real big problem. Anywho, and these rationing pipes. Some of you may be familiar with them, some of you may not. Basically what they do is they keep only a single stack of a given thing inside an inventory at a time. So this keeps so with this system you keep only one stack of dirt and one stack of wheat in here, which is good. You know, keeps it from going all wacko nuts on us and accidentally getting completely full of dirt and not being able to operate, or, you know, getting full of wheat and not being able to operate. It just saves us a lot of pain and suffering. And hey, free Enderlily. Cool. As you can see, the thing here kind of actually just plows whatever it wants. Weird ass thing. But it works reasonably well, so I like it. So I think that's all the changes I've made. Are there any other things I've done? Let's pop over here. I think this is it. Yeah, I think that's about it. Let's check our ethanol supplies. Ooh, low, very low. Well, let's see here. Does this have... No, it does not have any organic matter in it. Well, sludge. How does one produce sludge? I could use tulips, daisies, dandelions. Hey, I can use a lot of those vines I've got. Let's do that. Let's put some vines in here and, you know, stick it in its mouth and let it work. You know what? We got the resources. We might as well. And let's see here. I've got a bunch of things ready for our next step in our little refinement setup. But first things first, we're going to... Oh, I guess I can't move that with us. Find them. Eat bedrock pickaxe. Click. And you're going to eat that like an idiot. There we go. And now we're making even more compost. Yeah, I decided to put the dolly in the tool bag because it's a handy thing to have around. I am going to kind of hover over this thing for a little bit and generally get ready to work on other things for our little refinery process here. So I shall catch you guys in a little bit. And let's see here. Yep. So back in a tick. Well, that took forever. I had to go hunt some cows because I need leather to make CVT belts. Because my little setup is going to be somewhat expensive. I'm gonna need two CVTs to run the isotope centrifuge because it needs 262,144 rads per second, which is 512 times higher than what is currently provided by my good friend the AC electrical engine. So, with that, armed with that particular knowledge, I went and I found some things to mine. I found some things to, obviously, to kill. Because, that's what you do when you wander about. Occasionally you kill things. Mostly I was after cows, because I need leather to make belts. And I found some more magnetite, some more coal, which is good. Coal is always helpful. And considering I've got just over 9,000 of it, certainly doesn't hurt to have. So, isotope centrifuge requires 2 CVTs, of which I currently have 1. So, we're going to have to make another, which means we're going to need 2 total circuit boards. Put 1 in there. 1 for the CVT itself, 1 for its little screen. It's going to need a mount. And we're going to need 4 shaft bearings. 3 and 4. And 2 bedrock shafts. And that'll give us another CVT. And of course, this thing's going to need to be lubricated. Thankfully, I got some spare lubricant. So we're going to put down the CVT, lube it up. And she's all raring and ready to go. Now then, we're going to get our other CVT out. Now, I may not have shown this before, but how do you make belts? Well, obviously, as you can probably guess, it requires leather and steel. Each crafting gets you 2 belts. So, I'm just going to kind of shift click that there. How much leather have I got? 4. And just for reference, okay, I only need 4 to make cow seeds. Good. Good. And while we're at it, let's turn this raw beef into steak. As you never know, you might want some steak. So, isotope centrifuge. What does it do? Well, it turns uranium hexafluoride into a mixture of either U-238, which is more commonly called depleted uranium, which is mostly useless to us for now. It can be used to make, I believe, breeder reactors later on, or is used in breeder reactors. And the more rare, but much more useful, uranium-235, which is, normal fissile material. So, we're going... I think I have gas ducts. Yes, I do. Good. Because hardened clay is a pain in the ass to make. Now then, what else do we need? Let's go downstairs and look. Okay, so mostly what I just need is, effing space. But, let's see here. Don't need the Batra, need the isotope centrifuge, which we're gonna put, let's say here. And this thing will require power from the bottom. So we're gonna first fill it up with uranium hexafluoride gas, which apparently is not working. From the top, maybe? Ah, bingo. Okay. So we're just gonna seal that up and ignore the other connection there. It doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, now it's got uranium hexafluoride gas, so it's gonna need power now. And with that little thing noted, we're going to set up... Do I have a thing of bevel gears in here? I think I have a thing of bevel gears. I do not. I am going to need to go grab those. I think I have a set pre-made. Yep. Alright then. You need bevel gears. You're going to need screwdriver. And we're going to go back downstairs. We're going to hook that up. Let's see here. This is facing west. Input west. Output up. Alright. With that, we're going to need to set up our two CVTs. Transform the power. And both full of belts. And both set at 32:1. Now then, this is the main part of the build. The two AC electric engines, shaft core, red alloy wire, timer, and I don't have a damn shaft junction, really? I thought I was completely prepared for this. I apologize. But let's go upstairs. I think I have a junction or two prepared. I do not. Well, that's inconvenient. So I need a gear, 3 shafts. While I'm here, 3 shafts, gear, 3 base panels, 2 Hisla. 3 base panels, HS, LA steel, and bingolio. Now we've got a set of shaft junctions. Well, we only really need 1, because we're only merging the power of 2 engines. I'll put the gas duct there. And another thing we're going to need is our lever. Just to kind of kill the engines in case we don't really need any more uranium, which is entirely possible. So we're going to dig out here, here, and here. I'm going to get that and our screwdriver. And get it facing right. There we go. Get that and that. I'm going to get our 2 AC electric engines. And we're going to put shaft core in here, shaft core in here, lever here. That should do it. Get our timer and our red alloy wire, and bam. And our centrifuge is now working. Haha! And in due time, this will produce both U-238 and U-235. The latter of which is the one we most need. So, all we gotta do is wait. And if we want to stop it, just hit that lever, and the timer stops. Although we don't want to do that right now, because I think that resets the progress bar, which is not a good thing. That was probably not a good thing to do. So we're going to sort this, and look through it for your yellowite and uranium. Do iron, gold, tin, copper, tin. No another uranium, I don't think. Nope. That's peridot. Pitch blend, maybe? Calcite. Pitch blend. Pitch blend is also good. And, oh, it's almost done in the cycle. Yes! Depleted uranium. Which we can use to make depleted uranium pellets, I guess. And you can combine them with a fresh uranium fuel pellet to get breeder fuels, or breeder fuel pellets, which you can put into a breeder reactor for, things. You can use it to make radiation shielding, which you use to make hazmat armor, 128 kilogram railgun ammunition, neutron absorbers. So, a lot of things. A lot of very, very useful things. And the hazmat stuff will be most definitely useful for us if and when we decide to, well, actually, it'll probably be useful to us very shortly, because do kind of plan on making a nuclear reactor, which outputs a lot of, effing radiation. And for those of you who may not know, radiation kind of hurts. Radiation can hurt you a lot. So we're going to be centrifuging through our uranium. Yeah, we're going to get the magnetite, turn it into lodestones. I don't know why it lags when it does that. That's weird. Kind of disturbing. And because I always need an even amount of stone, we're going to put that in there. Let's get 6 stacks of uranium ingots. And the uranium processor over here also works with anything that's addicted as uranium ingots. So yellowite also works, pitch blend, other such nice things that make our lives just that much better. So we're running through our uranium hexafluoride, getting depleted uranium. Hopefully we'll get some U-235 at some point. So is there anything other than to turn it into... Okay, no. Mostly useless. I wouldn't say that. From what I remember, breeder reactors are actually really good. Can I uncraft this? I can. But that would probably break things. Because it had that little missing texture thing, and that's typically not a good sign. So, our isotope centrifuge is working nicely. Got a lot of heavy water, which we'll be able to turn into deuterium and tritium with an electrolyzer. Unfortunately, electrolyzer requires a fair bit of power. Not a huge problem, but we're also kind of running low on space. Can't really help that. So, actually, I'm going to clear out a nice big room. So I shall catch you guys later once I've got that done. Back in a minute. That took forever. And, damn near wiped out my redstone flux capacitor at the same time. Because I made a redstone exchanger, which is basically Endotech's version of the Wand Core of Equal Trade from ThoNNecraft. So, if you don't want to venture into ThoNNecraft territory, it's a good thing for you. And we have enriched uranium dust. Yeah. So what can we do with it? We can make uranium fuel pellets. With those, we can make our very first nuclear reactor. Pardon me. Though that may be coming, a bit later, because we gotta build a lot of crap for that. Anywho, our main thing here that we are going to need, right now, other than, you know, recharging this thing and recharging my friggin' armor, is we're gonna need to light up that area. I haven't done that yet. I've got it on peaceful because, you know, I didn't want to get bothered while building. But let's see here. We're going to need a couple of floodlights, which means you're gonna need 4 obsidian. Do I have any spare? I do have 2 spare DC engines. Yes, excellent. And let's get 2 of those redstone blocks, because why not? I'm gonna need 2 base panels, 2 Hisla. Base panel, HSLA steel. We're gonna need 2 glowstone blocks, of which we have plenty. 2 glass blocks. And let's see here, 4 iron. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam. Easy enough. So let's get our flux jetpack back in our hands. And we're going to make a floodlight. What am I missing? Gold, idiot. And 2 gold. And with that, bam bam. So we're going to come in here. Going to grab our screwdriver. And I'm going to show you a little bitty place I knocked out. And you can see it's right past, that's a lot of bats. Oh god, I forgot the bats. The bats! I hate bats. I seriously hate bats. Not because I'm scared of them or anything, I just don't like them. So, I think what I'm going to do, we're going to have one right here maybe? Bam, bam. Oh, whoops. Damn it! Bloody fingers. And that should light up this area here nicely. And, oh, yeah, I guess we could do that. Let's see here, it was 3 off from that. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, skip. Okay. I think I can do that. 1, 2, 3, skip. So, yes. And right here. He said, wondering. There we go, that should do it. And DC engine and floodlight. Bingo, this entire area is now lit up adequately. And I seem to have missed a thing or two. Oh well, who cares? I certainly don't. So, we're just going to torch the rest of this place up. Because I am feeling lazy. So we're going to put one there. There. And there. And there. Actually, there and here. Perfect. And all of our little spawning areas are now perfectly taken care of. Let's see, this is my tool bag, yes. During the course of the digging, as you can see, we got a lot of crap. A lot of extra crap to process. Which, you know, I don't mind. I don't mind having extra things to process and, you know, give our machines a thing or two to do. We're gonna just put limestone there or whatever. So we're gonna hop, 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 and boing. I'll turn the difficulty back on soon. In fact, I'll do that right now. Bingo. Difficulty back on. You know, some people might kind of cringe at that because, you know, it's like, oh, you're, I don't know, doing it wrong or some other BS. But honestly, I don't really, care. Not to sound like an ass or anything, it's just, it doesn't really matter all that much to me, because, I mean, I'm just sitting here, digging crap out. I don't want to be bothered by mobs and all that other nasty crap. I want to do things, I want to build and all that. So, nothing wrong with not wanting to be bothered. Sort and one good thing about this, we got plenty of cobblestone and a good deal of dirt. I'm still surprised at how much that exchanger from Endertech wiped out my friggin' energy cell. It's the only thing I have found that has done that. That's insane. And I like it. Insane is fine with me. So, we're gonna get... Actually, no, we need to go downstairs. Why do we need to go downstairs? Well, look over here. And downstairs to grab more bedrock dust. I seriously wonder how far that thing has gone. It has to have gone several hundred blocks by now. Gonna need to retop the lube supplies, I think. And basically what I did was I hovered over this with the friggin' watering can for like 20 minutes. Nothing terribly exciting. But, it was a thing. Let this finish and get the other DU dust. And a good thing about the reactors from REACTORCRAFT, they're very fuel efficient, especially when compared to things like big reactors. They don't require much watching over, and all that other good shit that comes with having an awesome reactor. And there we go. So yeah, you don't need to hover over it like an overprotective mother. You can, once you get it done, and it's not that hard to, get it done. It's difficult to get there. That's the thing. It's difficult to get to that point. But once you do, it's, not a huge thing. So, what else do we need to make this whole thing work? Well, gonna need a couple things. You're gonna need a fuel rod, I believe it's called. Fuel rod. Or not. We put some more copper in here. And I'll look at the handbook. Because it's got all the things you need to know. And you can also craft this. You just need 6 paper, steel, and 2 blue fluorite. Like blue fluorite specifically. Which, if you have the rainbow fluorite option turned on, that's not a huge deal, but, So, for a fission reactor, we need a couple of things. Fuel core. Fuel canister, hopper, HSLA steel, base panels. It's really hard on the steel and a few other things. Now, a few things you need to know. These emit neutrons. And neutrons need to be either reflected or absorbed. And things like that. And also, if this thing gets too hot, as you can see, it'll start smoking, release hydrogen gas, and melt into lava and release a hellacious amount of radiation. And it emits neutrons only in, horizontal direction. So, using the little grid here, if we had a fuel core here in this chunk, it would only emit to here, 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 and here. It doesn't go diagonally, and it doesn't go up and down. And if you get it up to 1800 degrees Celsius, it'll melt. Control rods, I don't think these are technically necessary, but, you know, they're a good thing to have around. Just in case you want to, you know, tell your reactor what to do. Coolant cell, blah, blah, blah. Draw away heat from the reactor. This heat is essentially wasted. So that's the thing you need to make sure of. Central control. Never used it. Honestly, the only thing I've ever used is the thing there, the reactor thingy. Steam boiler. Need to give it heat and lots of water. And you could also, instead of water, give it ammonia. But if it rises above 650 degrees Celsius, it will explode. So, kinda dangerous. Also need steam lines, which is liquid pipes and black wool. And it has a ridiculously large capacity for steam, which in rotary or REACTORCRAFT is steam blocks, not steam like how we're used to thinking of it in Railcraft and whatnot. You got a steam grate, which is used to, you know, well, vent steam basically onto turbines, which is the big thing we need. Turbines, they require two things. One, they require enough space where they can spin, and, you know, they need space around the blades so the blades don't hit anything. And they also need lubricant to function. And I believe they also consume them. But, as you can see, they make a good deal of power at maximum. And you can kind of stack them up. Condenser, and another thing we'll need, heat exchanger, to exchange the heat from various hot fluids into a boiler to do things. I don't think we technically need this. I think that's more for the high temperature gas reactor for like CO2, and I think also for the fusion reactor, but not necessarily for fission. Pressurizer, meh. Turbine generator generates RF, and it's a multi-block kind of thing. It's pretty damn big, but it can also output a ton of power, which is good. Tons of power is always good. High pressure turbines. I don't know if it needs things. If it needs lubricant or not. So, and this is also a multi-block kind of thing, so you need to make sure of that before you build one. But they come with their own housing and all that, so they're safe from, you know, having the blades obstructed. But they also require more steam to get going, and they have a much higher maximum speed. So that's pretty much all you need for a fission reactor, other than, you know, all this. The spent fuel container and nuclear waste disposal drum, we won't be using those because we'll just be voiding out the nuclear waste that we make. So, you know, it's not anything we really need to worry about. The neutron reflectors are useful to reflect them back, or to reflect neutrons back into the reactor, cause more fission, generate more heat, and more power, which is good. Turbine dynamometer, that's used for turbines, obviously, and a blueprint highlighter for the tokamak, which is the fusion reactor. So that's kind of an introduction into, you know, REACTORCRAFT and how it works, which is awesomely, obviously. REACTORCRAFT is pretty damned cool and very useful. It is extremely useful because once you get up to that point, power basically becomes a non-issue, especially if you can manage to gather all the resources necessary to build a fusion reactor. Build one of those things, and Set for Life doesn't even begin to cover it. I'll just put it like that. Set for Life doesn't even start to cover what you can get with that. So it's really well worth the investment, at least in my opinion. It takes a lot of area, it takes a lot of infrastructure, a lot of various and sundry other things, which some people may not like, you know. I can understand and respect that. It's not everyone's particular bag. But, you know, for those of us who like lots of power and difficult, I wouldn't necessarily say hardcore kind of things, but, you know, difficult things that are extremely rewarding, it's really good for that. So, that's pretty much going to be it for this episode. Check me back in episode 31, where we continue our work, and I continue to wander around like an idiot. But basically, we continue our work in making more uranium fuel pellets, and we continue our work toward the most wonderful reactor craft. So, again, this is me signing off on episode 30. Catch you guys later. Never forget to have fun out there.